Welcome to the Great Lakes Smoke Podcast Show. What we talk about basically is the love and the passion of cigars, pipe smoking, tobacco, alcohol, brothers chilling out and having a good time, laughter.
Well, how else are you gonna, enjoy a nice bourbon?
And you kind of went animalistic on tobacco buying, haven't you?
And the Rocky Patel, pure and simple. I don't know, that thing just tastes so good.
Good evening, aficionados, and welcome to another Great Lakes Podcast Show tonight. Oh, we got a special guest lined up for you guys, and we want to thank you again for joining on board. We are pretty excited. We're going to be actually talking about the oldest pipe maker in America.
This is true.
A corn pipe, the Missouri Meerschaum, over 150
years of history. It's
so
pretty amazing.
You guys definitely are in for a treat. We have Mr. Phil Morgan from Missouri Meerschaum, and he's got a lot to tell us.
150 years worth of telling us,
For sure.
But I got in here quite that long.
Got to condense it. It's only an hour show,
That's all right. We'll get it going.
Hey, Bob, you've been around that 150 years. So
I have.
It has been long. Absolutely.
In fact, even before that, I used to smoke clay pipes.
Well, anyway, folks, welcome aboard. Thanks again. Appreciate your support, and for all you newbies out there, thank you. Welcome back. We're really excited to have you guys. And just for a little introduction of who's who, my name is Ron Pecorini. This is my brother Bob Pecorini.
How you doing, folks?
Behind the scenes there in the magic world of technology, our brother Kyle Gesso working the numbers and the machinery from behind. And
how we doing, everybody?
There you go. Oh,
he speaks.
There you go. And look what he.
You forget when I was doing the intro, I forgot to unmute myself.
Is that what it was?
I'm sitting here talking. I'm like, why can't I hear myself? I'm like, oh, there. Hold on a second. There's a button for that.
That's all right. Like I said, he's the magician of technology, guys. He doesn't even want to hear himself tonight. But
yeah, nobody wants to hear me.
Cousin Frank.
And then in Florida himself, the one, the only Stump the Chew specialist, Cousin Frank.
Hello, everybody. I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready not to give away a pipe. I'm stingy tonight.
Oh, well.
Okay.
You don't like to scare the audience like that. They might turn us off.
Well, we're just going to let them see what they're not going to get. Okay. We got a nice little briar here.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Comes from our president of the club, Tim Garrity.
What club?
The Chicago Pipe Club.
There you go.
There we go. Which we are all members of. But it's a nice pipe. We're going to try to give it away. Maybe
try
not.
to. Yeah,
We'll
try.
see how it goes. Frank doesn't want to give away pipes anymore. So
Yeah,
he's
apparently.
getting more and more difficult with his questions.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a white envelope here in Florida.
Okay.
You've been waiting a long time.
Yeah, we started off, way back over a year ago, giving away pipes left and right, and now look at us.
I
We're
know.
so stingy.
Well, yeah, pipes are expensive, and we need sponsors to put some money in our fund.
That is true. We do need some sponsor money, and of course, that always helps to keep us going and excited. And
Remember we used to
make
give
us
away
happy.
Costellos and Dunhills? I mean,
Yeah.
oh man, that was pre-virus. That was the good old days,
Yes.
I know. That's what
Tim
we're saying.
gave the dumb hills away. So anyway, folks, we have also an email address. So if you like to write to us and give us some of your questions or anything that you like to hear us talk about, write to the Great Lakes Smoke Show at AOL.com. You can always PM us on our Facebook page, Great Lakes Smoke Show, which you are all hopefully looking at right now. We'd like to ask you, if you are on, please set up a watch party to spread the word and let all your friends and families and others know about our show. We are growing, and we are really excited about the growth that's been happening here this year. It's been amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the show is growing.
We are. We're in 20 countries around the world. So if you have people outside of this
Unfortunately,
world,
our hair is
country,
not growing, but the show is doing well.
Speaking
shave
of new audiences, our one of our newer fans that won the pipe his first show, he's asking, when are you going to message me about the pipe I won?
remember, I told you once a month I go to the post office, and it's coming up this week. So, and Frank gets his also, and so does Andre, and and a couple others. So, yeah, this week is the my once a month trip to the post
Just be
office.
patient, guys. We're still working on the group from 1999, so we'll get to you soon.
We will be
Being a
there.
relative term.
I personally had to hand deliver one this week, so you see, I'm on the move. But anyway, let's start off with a couple of our sponsors there, Kyle. Take it away, and then show others who a few of our sponsors are.
All right, our sponsors are DAV Cigars out of New York. Our boys Val and Armin putting together good cigars. They have the new cigars coming out this year. I think they're dropping in September, October, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's somewhere over there, I believe. The end of September, beginning of October,
Yeah,
perhaps.
they got those coming out. So be on the lookout for those, for the new DAV cigars coming out. We also have. Oh, the technology's not
You got a
working.
little
There we go.
different tonight, Kyle. You got your FM voice going.
Of course.
You got the FM voice. You know,
Well-
more bass, more.
Oh, he's smoking a corn cob.
And
so
I'm
he's,
smoking a corn cob there.
Oh,
There you go.
One of our other sponsors out of Tampa, Florida, R&A Treasures, putting out all kinds of pipes for sale. They released a bunch of newer pipes to sell out today. If you had a chance to check their page out, they had a bunch of vest pocket pipes and some briars down there.
Those anymore.
I know. I think I'm gonna have to pick up a vest pocket pipe one of these times here.
Cool.
I got him.
Oh, no, Ron's already got them. And then our last sponsor we have is the Chicagoland Pipe Collectors Club. We are the largest pipe collectors club in the U.S., and we have the largest show in the world. And look at that. And we'll be back even bigger and better come next year. 2021 is the year. So mark your calendars, everybody.
I'm preparing.
The first weekend in May. Very good, Kyle. So anyway, and if you too would like to become a sponsor of the Great Lakes Smoke Show, please reach out to us. We'll set that up for you, and we'll be basically promoting you weekly, and if not daily, depending how often we get to our Facebook page. But for mere pennies, we'll take care of you and let the world know who you are. But in the meantime, talking about our special guest that we've been excited for.
And everyone knows who this is.
Yeah. And
Of
anyone who
course.
owns a pipe or knows about a pipe.
Even if you've been years ago, it used to be candy stores,
Yes.
newspaper stores,
Walgreens,
we used to have call them
CVS.
Tiamo stores.
Well, this
drug
was
stores. I mean,
this was everybody's first pipe.
yeah.
This is everyone's
those
first
two.
pipe.
And they are fantastic pipes. As you
They
see, we have one. Tim is smoking one. Bob's got a bunch of them.
I'm not
Kyle
smoking
is
it tonight,
smoking one.
but
But the one, the only, from Missouri himself, Mr. Phil Morgan. How are you, Phil?
come on down.
Oh, thank you guys. You know, thanks for asking us for asking me to be part of the show. This is great. And hey, Ron, by the way, I'll send you an email, but we would like to become a sponsor too. So I don't know.
Wonderful. There you go.
All right. All
I don't know
right.
why. I don't know why we aren't already. So, hey, when you make corncob pipes, you know you need as much publicity as you can get. So
Yeah.
Honestly, you guys put out an amazing pipe. You really do. Yeah, it works all the time. A reverse calabash.
Yep.
You
Hey.
guys really do. You know,
reverse calabash.
There you go.
Hey,
wow, look at
there
that.
it is.
hurry,
Wow.
keep it up there. We got
Hold on.
the audience is
The
coming
audience
on.
is coming in. Hold on. Look at this.
There's
There we
another
go.
one. Oh,
Keep walking.
Show
You're
it
a big
again.
league.
Show it again.
Keep it going. Shut up again. Shut up.
One more time.
Kyle, get off the middle.
Come on. Out of the picture.
here's the one.
Hey!
Those, hey, Ron, that's just a teaser. I don't know that we'll. Those are extremely hard to make
Yep.
from
These
corn
ones?
cobs.
Oh, the one
Oh,
you're
the
showing
ones
us?
you can, oh yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the one that didn't smoke it tonight. Look at that
Yeah,
one.
that's a freehand. We make a lot of those. That's a big pipe.
That's a beautiful.
No, I didn't want to give it back to you.
It's not much of a clincher either. I go for the clinchers.
Uh-huh.
All right, that works.
Yeah,
That works.
hey, Ron, that one you got's not much of a clincher either. There's a lot of leverage on that.
Yes, there is. There
Yes,
is.
there is.
You know, feel like almost like a female smoker here. But it smokes great. I've had several, and I got to tell you, Phil, not one is a bad smoke. They're just awesome.
They can never be bad.
No, I mean, you guys just do it right.
Well,
And
when
again, it comes by how you make it a special corn, which I hope you can get into and talk about it because they're great.
Well, let him talk. I mean, you haven't stopped. You're like a machine gun. Stop talking.
It's my nature.
Yeah, I know.
So, Phil,
is Ron running for some office or something? Or, you know?
Yeah, always.
What is the president say?
so Phil, can you tell us about the process? Can you tell us how it goes from growing
The
to
fields.
the final product?
Yeah, that's when people come in and they want to go through the factory and they say, well, where does show us where everything starts. And I said, well, I'd have to take you over to the field to show you where everything starts because we basically grow our own raw material. And I tell people that growing, the hardest part of this business, it's not the manufacturing, it's not the marketing, it's not the sales really, it's the keeping an adequate supply of corn. When you grow your own raw material, I mean, that's something that, every year we're at the whim of Mother Nature. We either get too much.
Exactly. And if you have a bad year, you kind of.
Yeah. And we did, back in 2012, when the drought year, when the whole country had a drought, I mean, we were literally just down to a small pile of cobs, and that's scary. And so every year, we're on pins and needles every year, to get the corn in at the right time, make sure we get enough rain, not too much rain, get enough sunshine. And then like right now, we have about 140 acres of corn planted right now. And it's in the growing season has been fantastic. We had a lot of rain early in the spring. Then we had some really hot weather for about 2 weeks, really hot weather, which corn loves the really hot weather. And then we got some more rain. And so now it has finished growing. The cobs are as big as they're going to get. And I'll show you, here's one that is out of the field, was just picked out of the field either, I think this morning or yesterday.
That's
and
pretty big.
They're big. They're huge. They're huge cobs. I mean, they're.
What kind of corn is that? Obviously, it's not meant for human consumption, is it?
Well, it could. You could. This morning, they brought some that had not dried out very much, and I took one of the kernels off to see. Well, I wonder how that tastes, and it actually was a little bit sweet still.
Really?
So,
Wow.
But it is not sweet corn. It is a field grade corn. And Bobby, to answer your question, it's a hybrid of about 4 old open pollinated varieties of corn. It's the type of corn they would have grown back in the 1930s, 1940s.
Wow.
And that's why you get a cob, you know, after this one is shelled, here's the cob, you know, with the grain off of it.
Okay.
So this
Wow.
cob is about almost 2 inches in diameter.
That's pretty big, though. That's
Yeah.
pretty big.
Phil, do you
So, and you know, no other farmers they don't want a cob that size. You know, first of all, it's heavy. You got the stalk of the corn cob or the corn plant has got to be strong enough to hold it up, which I'll get into in a second. That's the point we're at in the year right now where we're worried about. But they don't want they want a lot of grain, but they don't want a cob this size. So over the years, they started hybridizing it so that the cob was smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, that didn't work for us. I mean, prior to about the 1960s, we could buy the cobs from local farmers. What we would do is give them a metal ring, and if the cob after it had been shelled, if it would not fit through that ring, then it was big enough to make a pipe. So we would just buy the cobs, you know, from local farmers. But
that's cool.
now that they've gone to the corn that has really small diameter cobs, I mean, we've got to grow our own. So luckily, before it became politically incorrect to be connected with tobacco at all, the University of Missouri helped us hybridize the seed that we have now. And like I said, it's made up of some really old varieties of corn, and it'll give us, about 60% of it will be a white cob, and about 40% will be kind of a salmon or reddish colored cob, which makes some great looking pipes.
Yeah.
But that's why basically we have to grow our own, because it's a unique seed we're the only ones that have this seed. You can actually buy from some of these old heirloom seed companies. There's one that they market as Missouri pipe corn. However, that's not, people say, oh, that's Missouri Meerschaum's corn. Well, no, that's not our corn. That's just somebody who has an old variety that may have been used for pipes at one time. But the variety we have, we're the only ones that have it. And if there's any secret, like I told you, we'll answer any question, because after 150 years, there's no secrets. There may be one secret, and that's what makes up, you know,
I was going to say, the formula for
that
the
era corn.
Wait a minute, you said there was no secret.
Well, there's one. There's one right there. That's a secret.
So what's it going to take to get that secret out?
Well, we intend to be in business another 150 years, so you're gonna have to wait a while to get that secret.
Here's
But
another
hey,
question for you.
what I was going to say though, where it's critical right now, on the corn right now, I mean, if you could feel this ear corn, this thing is heavy. And the stalks of, I don't know if you remember I'm old enough to remember the old field corn from way back when. That corn grew tall. Some of those stalks were 10 feet tall.
Oh, yeah.
Our corn is 10 to 12 feet tall.
Wow.
And whenever you get a cob this size, you know, hanging off of one of those stalks, if you get any wind at all, it tends to blow them down. And we had a couple storms blow through just recently that blew some of it down. And so that's the risky part now. I mean, heck, you risk it from the very beginning when you plant it. You're waiting for good weather. Make sure that Missouri River, which is right behind me here, make sure that you're hoping it doesn't flood and flood the fields.
Yeah.
And then so now you get a great looking ear of corn, and now you're worried until you harvest it. You're worried that the wind doesn't blow it over. But even if the wind blows it over, we send we ask for volunteers, our employees over to the field, to pick the cobs up off of it before they get damaged. So
how thick are the stalks themselves to support that?
They're not as thick as you would think. They're probably, I've never measured one, but if you're familiar with just the corn, like sweet corn you grow in your backyard.
Fields of corn all around.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little bit thicker than that, but the problem is they grow so tall, then you get that wind and that leverage, from the the wind, will tend to, it's called lodging. When a corn stalk falls over, they call it lodging for some reason. And so that's the part that we're worried about right now. But we got a great crop growing, and it'll, even if we have to go pick it up off the ground, that we're going to get it.
Absolutely.
average
Do
yield?
you ever cage them, or to hold some support for them?
Well, whenever you
saying something too.
the problem is the problem with that, Bob, is that we planted about 18,000 seeds per acre. And that sounds like a lot, but normal farmers are planting 30 to 35,000 seeds per acre. So if you had to go out and hold up, it'd be impossible to do. You're talking about 3 million plants, corn stalks. Even as low density as what we plant, you're still talking a lot of corn stalks. So it would be hard to do that.
Yeah.
So
Work though. It's definitely a lot of work.
oh, it is. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of stress. Like I could tell people the most stressful time of year is whenever we're growing the corn. So,
Well, here's another question for you, Phil.
sure.
How long, Missouri Meerschaum's been around for forever.
150
But
years.
how long has it always been owned by one family, or can you give us a little bit of the history?
How's the
Sure.
beginning? How did it begin? I
Yeah,
mean, did
yeah.
somebody, finish their corn and say, hey, if I put a stem in here, can I smoke it? I mean, what was the concept here?
Well, people ask that, Bob. They ask that a lot about, who they'll come into our museum and they'll say, well, who made the first corncob pipe? Well, we made we were the first ones to commercially make a corncob pipe, but somebody else was making them. And I don't doubt that probably the Native Americans are the ones that first used a corncob, as a pipe, because they, the Native Americans, not just in the United States, but in Central America and South America, they're the ones that developed the corn plant to begin with, which to me, this is a great thing. You look at tobacco and corn, both of those plants are basically from the Americas, and
Right.
which I think is great. Just think of the heritage that's with tobacco and with corn. They're basically, America from the Americas, not just North America, but the Americas. But I don't doubt that the Native Americans were probably the first ones that got the bright idea that, hey, I got a corn cob here, I can cut it off, poke a hole in it, stick something in the side, and put some tobacco in it and smoke it. But for us, the legend here is that it's either in 1869, either a farmer or a trapper coming, trappers were going up and down the Missouri River right behind us here. I mean, that's Lewis and Clark went right by here whenever they were, going out west. That they came down the river, and Henry Tibby, the founder of our company, was a Dutch immigrant. He was a wood turner, and his home in Holland burned, and his business burned. So he came to America, brought his family to America. They went to St. Louis first, and then they eventually came out to Washington. And somebody recently said, well, how did Washington why is Washington the corncob pipe capital? Well, it's just one of those, serendipitous things that the guy that first started it, he happened to be a wood turner right here in Washington. And the guy that came by and said, hey, I made this corncob pipe myself. Do you think you can make these on your lathes? And Henry Tibby said, well, I'll try it. So he tried it and worked out, and he made extra ones and put them in his shop, in his wood turning shop. And people came by and were buying them. So he got the idea, hey, I'm making more money making corncob pipes than I am being a wood turner. So he just went solely to making corncob pipes. So to answer the original question, the original founder of the company was Henry Tibby. And he and his son, Anton, are the ones that really got the whole industry going, because the story of the corncob pipe is not just about Missouri Meerschaum, it's about the whole industry. He started an industry. We just happened to be the first, and for all intents and purposes, we're the last. There's Old Dominion out in Virginia. Great Bob Savage, great guy. So they exist too, but we were the first, and for a company that's just totally only dedicated to it, we're the last. But after the Tibbies started it, they sold it to it's in the late 1800s, early 1900s. They sold it to another family here in town called the Otto family. And there was a prominent family here in town, and the Otto family actually owned it the longest. They've owned the company, or they owned the company for about 75 years. And then they sold it to an investment group that was sold to another investment group for a rather short period of time. And there's 3 guys that own it now, and they have owned it for about 30 years. So it's not the original family is not connected, with the company at all, any longer. I wish it was. It'd be make the story even better. But
yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. But at least the good thing is they started something, they started an industry and started a company that just, 150, this year is 151 years. We have continuously been making corncob pipes right here in Washington, Missouri for 151 years. We've been in this building, and where my office is here, this part of the building is 135 years old. So we've been in this building for 136 years now, for 136 years.
That's awesome.
So
Man, that's landmark status.
Oof. That's
yeah,
spectacular. That is really spectacular.
Again, to intervene, you were saying, that Missouri and Old Dominion out in back east are still making corn cobs. But when we spoke before, one of the things, I'm a fan of corn cob pipes, but the Chinese have been dumping a lot of corn cob pipes on the market as well. And they're not, they're not the same.
No.
I've had a couple, unfortunately, back in the day when I first got back into smoking pipes, you would burn through them. I didn't think
They would burn out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And part of the reason for that is, this corn, they don't have the, of course, and I don't mean this in a critical way necessarily, but they're opportunists. If they see a chance to make something, and make it cheap and sell it, and they will, and they do still make some corncob pipes in China and import them here. And even there's one company, we're trademarked even in China, so they can't use our name. But what they do, though, which just drives me crazy, is the founder of our company his last name was Tibby. Well, they import a pipe that looks similar to one of ours, and they call it Mr. Tibbs original corncob pipe.
that burnt through it all in my lap.
The Chinese did it again.
Always cheap knockoffs on everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't. Every once in a while, we'll have like a wholesaler or somebody will call us and say, well, hey, the Chinese pipes are so much cheaper than yours. I said, well, we just simply can't compete with them, and we're not going to compete with.
But you get what you pay for too.
Yeah, exactly.
How many different lines of pipes do you have? I myself have about 5 different types of Missouri Meerschaums. So, this thing right here is small compared to my churchwort, and mine's like that big bowl. How many different pipes do you guys make?
There's about 25 different styles of corncob pipes, but that's everything. That's everything from the little miniatures, all the way up to the MacArthur's and the freehand like you're smoking, and so about 25 different ones. And there's so many variations on them. There's most of them you can get a bent or a straight version of it. Some of our pipes, like some people ask, well, hey, what pipe do you sell the most of? Well, the one we actually sell the most of is this one, and it's the Legend. And the reason we sell that the most, that's the one that when you were talking earlier about where you used to get the pipes, like all the
They always had
pharmacies,
that one.
Walgreens, that's what the one that they carried. And Walgreens still carries this one, and that's the one we sell the most
It
of.
is a Legend.
And actually, it's a great smoking pipe. I mean,
It really is.
I smoke this one. I've got probably 3 or 4 of them behind me here that, depending on what tobacco I'm smoking, I'll grab one of these just as quickly as I'll grab one of the other more expensive ones. But then if you ask what's the most popular pipe, then this one, the Country Gentleman, which there you go, which Kyle is smoking.
Kyle's smoking that one right now.
That one, as far as once somebody gets one of these, and then this often becomes one of their favorite corncob pipes. So we sell thousands and thousands of these too. And they are a great pipe. They're nice barrel shape, has the stain, dark stain on it. And this dark stain, a lot of people ask, well, how do you get that dark stain on these? Well, back in the old days, in fact, we just found a picture of it. They had a machine that the section of corncob would rotate on this wheel, and a flame they're burnishing it. Now, though, we don't do that anymore. It's just a water-based stain that we add to it now to get that look. But
Nice.
But as far as the styles, and we're coming up with if we decide, hey, we need to come up with a new style, what we generally do is just look back in some of our old catalogs from back. I think the oldest catalog we have is from 1906, I think.
Wow.
And so we'll look back and just see, okay, which one haven't we made in a long time? And we'll try to make a version of that. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But
I remember seeing some of the older ones that looked like they were mimicking briars, like square shank, amber color stems.
Yeah.
Almost like a bulldog would, in design.
Yeah.
They were really, really nice looking pipes.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, that's
a nice one.
Yeah,
That's
like
really
these.
nice.
Last year for our 150th anniversary, we decided, that we ought to come out with something special. So, and people have been asking for a long time about, hey, when are you going to bring the Bulldog back?
Yeah.
And the reason we stopped making the Bulldog back in the late 80s is when we quit making it. Is that bowl is hard to make from a corn cob. Whenever you've got to cut the V
Right.
down at the bottom of the bowl and and put a wood plug in the bottom. It's a difficult pipe to make. But we thought, well, for our 150th, let's bring them back. So this was the first one we brought back, the first version. Let me put it that way, because we wanted to kind of get used to making it again. So we made this one. It just has a square shank on it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we came out with this one, and which has the diamond shank.
That's really nice.
Dark bowl, and actually a diamond vulcanite stem on it too.
That's
and
good.
then the final version we came out with was this one.
That's real nice.
Yeah, and has the shank is down at the bottom where they normally are, and it has an acrylic
Stem.
diamond stem.
Wow.
But we'll probably occasionally make those again, but it's like the reverse calabash here that we made. They are so difficult to make that we don't intend to keep them all the time, but we may occasionally bring them back.
Well, let us know when you're going to make some, because I'd like to get a few.
And anytime on any of these ones, that if you see them here, or if you've seen them, somebody else has one, or you saw one on Facebook, or somebody posted a picture, give us a call or email us and say, hey, do you have any of those around? Because every once in a while we'll find some, around. So.
Okay.
Next question.
Yeah.
I got like I like a whole.
Yeah, I
Tim's
know.
got a whole.
He's been like working on these.
War and Peace. That's what he's got working on.
That's a short fiction compared to my questions. You know, the next question. You know, I haven't been familiar with the Missouri Meerschaum tobaccos. Can you tell us a little bit about the Missouri Meerschaum tobaccos?
Yeah. What we had, as far as I can tell, the company never had its own tobacco, Missouri Meerschaum tobacco. What we did have, and we still have some in our safe actually, is we did have a brand of snuff way back in the probably the early 1900s.
Wow.
Wow.
I forget the name of it, but anyway. But as far as actual pipe tobacco, we have some now. We have 6 different ones. 4 of them are in pouches and 2 of them are in tins. And the way that came about, we didn't initiate that. All of you are probably familiar with Russ Roulette from, from Pipes and Cigars and Cigars International. Russ is a great guy. And several years ago, we were at the Kansas City Pipe Show, and Russ came up to me and he said, you know, Phil, I've been thinking about making some blends or putting together some blends that I think will smoke best in a corncob pipe. And because Russ thinks that, like a lot of people do, that a corncob pipe imparts a little bit of sweetness to the tobacco, maybe. And I'm not so sure. I personally agree with that. I think sometimes that's people are thinking sweet corn, and that's where they get that. But it does somehow, I think it does impart some type of little flavor to the tobacco. So Russ said, I've got some ideas for 4 blends, an English, a Burley, a Virginian, an aromatic, that he thinks would smoke best in a corncob pipe. And he said, would you be, if I did it, would you put your name on it? So, I had a lot of respect for Russ. So I said, yeah, definitely would consider it. So he said, well, okay, I'll start putting them together. So he put the blends together, and that's how that started. So,
Okay.
And then
I had no idea Russ was making those.
Yeah, he's the one that put the blends together. Now he put the 4 that are in pouches. He put those blends together. There's 2 in the tins.
Yeah.
See, I've got some here somewhere.
The
The 150th anniversary tin. I don't know if any of you have seen that we have, and
No.
then Independence Day tin. Sutliff. Those are old blends that Sutliff had made years ago and quit making them, and contacted us about, hey, would you be interested if we brought these blends back? So that's where those 2, come from. So,
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah, I did
I
not
think
know
one
that.
of our local cigar lounges at Arlington Pipes and Cigars has that,
Everything.
right?
Yeah, they have a nice collection of Missouri Meerschaum pipes,
that. Oh yeah.
tobaccos, you name it. I mean, Arlington's the place to go.
Yep.
It's just, I like the history piece because, these are the things as the club president, whenever a generation passes, we lose that history, and guys like me who are into pipe repairs, you lose the basics of maintaining pipes and how to, I used to think all pipes are the same, they're not,
No, far
Yeah.
from it.
and corn cobs were got a lot of short shrift for a long time, and I'm like, whoa, I have at least 4 corn cobs in my car right now. You never know when you're gonna have to have a pipe,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I want to make sure that I've got a great pipe to smoke.
It's also the best pipe to give to a first-time smoker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also to sample tobacco too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to try tobacco for the first time. Put it in a brand new corncob, man. You're really going to get everything about that tobacco.
Yeah,
That's
it's way the hell better than a clay.
Oh yeah, clay. I have no luck with clay. First of all, they set my mouth on fire,
And
and
they're
I break them.
and they're fragile. Yeah.
I broke every single one that I've
You
owned.
and all the original smokers.
Yeah.
Those all the original colonists of the Americas were missing their front teeth from chewing on those old clay pipes.
This is true.
But one of the things that I always say, and Jeff just brought it up. For new guys, I can never stress enough corncob pipe.
Hey, it's,
Yeah.
it's reasonably priced enough so that, hey, if he doesn't like it, not a big loss.
That's it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Plus, it is a mellower smoke in a cob.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It just is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of what we stress too, you know, is that, you know, for beginning pipe smokers, hey, you know, try it out. You know, you may not like pipe smoking to begin with, you know, so, you know, don't spend a whole hell of a lot of money on it. You know, get a corncob pipes, get some help from somebody who is a pipe smoker. That's important. And that's what I think that's where I think the shops really distinguish themselves. The really good tobacco shops, they've got somebody there that can take that beginning pipe smoker and explain to them, you know, how to smoke a pipe. You know,
That's what we do at the Chicago Pipe Club members.
You
Yeah.
need
We
coaching.
bring people in and we invite them to come in. Tim's always got an extra pipe on hand for the newbies, as we call them.
yeah,
The rest of us have all different types of tobacco, and really the Meerschaum is the best way for a newbie to. What is he showing there?
oh yeah,
Put it in the corncob right
okay.
now.
Hey,
See, we're
one of
right here. New
Yeah.
tobacco, my trusty corncob.
one of
And
our
not worried
one of
about any ghosting or anything.
one of
Well,
our
that's a
fans
good
here.
point.
One of our
Okay,
fans says, "Hey Phil, I'm currently growing corn cobs in my backyard from a Missouri seed, the seeds he bought from Aristocob."
yeah. He bought what I don't know if all of you are familiar with Aristocob. Scott Markwood at Aristocob. Scott's a great guy, and he's been selling our pipes for, oh my gosh, way before I even got here. And he has a contest every year. It's called Cob Foolery. And if you're not that, actually, that's how the reverse calabash came about. Was we send him some cobs, some pipes that adjust the bowl itself, and he then sells them to people who then modify them and make their own pipe. Well, one year, what he said, hey, you know, Phil, would you consider, you know, giving us just a handful of seed, basically, so that our guys, if they're interested, that they could, really, it's a 2-year project to do it, but, you know, grow your own, grow the corn themselves, and, you know, and shell it, and, you know, age it, and make their pipe right from our seed. So we gave Scott, it'd be like a coffee can full of seed, you know, because you can't, once you plant, it's a hybrid. And if you're familiar with hybrids, once you plant the next, you don't save the seed from the hybrid, because it won't produce what your
Right,
original
right.
hybrid is.
You guys have to.
So there wasn't a whole lot of danger that it was given away a big secret, you know, or that you're propagating it out there. So anyhow, that's how that came about.
Nice.
Interesting.
So,
I have a question for you. When you're aging the cob, do you do any drying of it, like kiln drying, or is it just aged? How is it aged?
you know, Frank, what we do, it's the ideal way to age it is after we harvest it, shell it, and the grain, we sell the grain, and it's food grade. It either gets used for food, for animal feed, or my favorite, to make whiskey. We actually sell some of the
Nice.
grain to distilleries too.
Oh, very nice.
Awesome.
Moonshine.
My favorite too.
Hey, actually, I have some moonshine right here that I was sipping on.
Nice.
Drink all you want. Salud. Join us, why don't you?
My moonshine's hidden in a coffee cup right here.
Ooh, nice.
You're a decent man.
But then after it's shelled, Frank, after it's shelled, we bring the cobs. Ideally, we'll bring them over to the plant here, and we literally store them. And this is the way it's been done from the very beginning: is we store them up on 3rd floor, just in big piles. You know, if you ever come by here, I'll take you up and show you. But
We'll swing by tomorrow if you got some time.
hey, I got time. Yeah, I got time.
Leave early.
But we ideally, we just leave them up there in big piles and let them dry for 2 years. Because what you want,
No idea. You got to do with that.
so what you want on cob, the center of the cob is the pith, which gets drilled out for the tobacco chamber. But then this next part, this part right here of a cob is called the woody ring, and that's one of on our cobs, that part is really thick. And if you let these cobs dry for 2 years, that woody ring literally becomes as hard as wood.
Wow.
So ideally, we just leave it up on 3rd floor and let them dry for a couple years. There have been times, and we actually may end up doing it next year with this year's crop too, is we've made it's not, I wouldn't call it a kiln, but a drying room maybe. It's just a plywood room that we blow heat into, and the cobs are on kind of a mesh table, and that will work too. But nothing works as well as just leaving them up there and letting them dry, for a couple of years.
And there's no worries about them just like rotting or some sort of bacteria forming, because there's a long time just sitting around.
Yeah, no, Bob, as long as you keep them dry, then you've got no problem with them. As long as you don't, and years ago, our roof, when you have an old building, you got roof leaks. We just put a new roof on, so we're good. But as long as you keep them dry, then they won't mold or they won't rot, and they'll just get better and better actually.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Now the one thing you have though, and I tell people this whenever I take them through the plant. I tell them, hey, we've got corn, and there's some grain fault is around here too. So if you've got corn and grain, you've got mice, you've got rats, and if you've got mice and rats, you got black snakes.
Yeah.
And
you have cats in the house?
Here, I got to show you something. This just the other day, one of our maintenance guys was up on 3rd floor, and he came down with this snake skin.
Oh no!
It's about 4 feet long.
Oh.
So there's a 4 foot long black snake somewhere up on 3rd floor.
I look at it this way: there's a pair of boots somewhere up on that 3rd floor.
So, let me get this right. You got black snakes, but you don't have any corn snakes.
No, not seen any corn snakes. No, we haven't seen that. But we just leave the cobs up there and let them dry for a couple years and let that woody ring get really dry, and then they're ready to rock and roll then.
Now, what kind of yield do you get from your fields per year? How many cobs?
Yeah, what I count on, we plant 18,000 seeds per acre, and I count on only getting 50% of them that will actually be usable. Now this year, with as good as the crop looks, I bet we're going to get way over that. But that's what we plan on getting, is probably about 50% of usable cobs. But then, like a cob this size, depending on, now if we make a MacArthur or a freehand, you'll probably only get 1 pipe out of it. But like Kyle
spoke, get at least two big pipes.
We get a country gentleman and maybe even a couple legends out of one that size. Right. So, but I still, whenever I'm planning, I plan on getting 50% good cobs and only getting 1 pipe per cob. That way you're not overselling yourself, I guess.
Was there ever a year, Phil, that you guys had a really bad crop year? Like you're thinking to yourselves, what are we going to do?
2012.
Yep. There's actually 2012 was a horrible year because it was, if you remember, the whole country had a drought, and corn yield across the country was horrible. And we got hurt by it too. Even though our field, our 150-acre field is irrigated, it's still that, if you remember that year, it was so hot. I mean, here we had like 10 days in a row that it was over 100 degrees and no rain for like 6 weeks. And even being irrigated, we only got about maybe 30%, 30% of the whole field. And again, if only half of that's usable, now you're down to 15%, that's actually usable. And the other thing that happens, that had happened, is prior to my getting here, whenever you have a hybrid seed, like I said earlier, there's 4 varieties of corn that go into our seed. So that means you've got to grow separately 4 varieties. Then you got to cross 2 of them here, cross 2 of them here, and then cross that product. So unfortunately, what had happened is one of the elements, one of those 4 had gotten left out of the mix several years before I got here. And we were ending up with cobs they were nice and hard, but they were small. And so it took about 3 or 4 years just to figure out what was wrong with the seed, get that fixed. And then we get it fixed, and then 2012 happens. And that was, I literally in the fall of 2012, I thought, I don't know that we're going to make it through another year. It doesn't mean we go out of business. It just means, hey, we may not be able to make corncob pipes, for a year or so.
Wow.
And that's when one of the people in the plant said, well, why don't we take about 3 of our popular cobs? The Country Gentleman was one of them. The Great Dane School, and can't remember the other one right now, but we took 3 of them and actually had maple hardwood bowls made in those shapes. And so we sold those for a couple years, not to replace it, just to have something to sell, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, but luckily that, we had a couple of good years and we got the seed back on track. So, we're in good shape now.
Good thing.
Awesome.
Phil, how long actually have you been with the company?
I have been about a little over 11 years, about 11 and a half years.
Okay, all right.
Seems like a lifetime, but it's
you and your wife and your daughter, you're doing a lot of the shows. You guys are basically the face, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I got here, or years ago, they went to all the trade shows, the pipe shows. They even went to some of the trade shows in Europe, which I have not done. But when I got here, I think in 2009, when I got here, we went to the first. It was called RTDA trade show back then. Then it became IPCPR, and now it's PCA. But we went to the IPCPR in New Orleans, and just had a little booth, little 10 by 10 booth. And we'd had people come by and say, oh my God, I thought you guys went out of business. I haven't seen anything of you or heard from you. Say, nope, we're still in business. So, right then we knew we've got to get out there. We've got to get our face out there, go to the pipe shows. That's when we started coming to the Chicago Pipe Show. Frank talked us into that. So, coming to the Chicago Pipe Show and in Kansas City, St. Louis, obviously, and going to the trade shows. So we've tried to, get out there and at least let people know, hey, this little old humble corncob pipe company, we're still here and still never stop making corncob pipes, and don't intend to stop making them.
Just here's a little oldie from the 2016 Chicago Pipe Club.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Looks brand new. I'm keeping this as a collector's item.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
Yeah.
So as vice president, I'm going to let the president talk now. Well, what do you got to say, buddy?
I'll tell you again, these are champion pipes. Okay. I have no problem giving these to somebody who's just getting into it. No harm, no foul. If you don't like it, you didn't sink 50, 60, 70, everybody here has got an expensive pipe.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy it, no loss, and
But how can you not? They're great pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really are.
well, usually, I'll tell you what, it's not the pipe, it's the tobacco,
True,
and
true.
the whole process of maintaining the smoke and keeping it lit and that whole balance. And let's face it, a lot of the people who I'm I'm talking to our cigar smokers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and not too many people are going to enjoy a cigar if it keeps going out.
Right.
You
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but think of how many people we have turned on to pipe smoking who were only cigar smokers at one time.
well, you guys, I mean,
Yeah,
these
we-
guys
we
are the
really-
mouth of the North right here.
We have really turned a lot of people into pipe smokers recently.
Yeah, but we
Hey.
lost one. Remember, you know, our brother Sean. We got him in the pipe smoking, and then he quit. He's like, I can't
He did.
can't
It's just
figure it
too much
out.
work.
He's
Yeah.
like, it's too much work for me. He's like, it keeps going
Oh,
out
wow.
on me, and
I like what Phil kind of said, you know, if you look at the Missouri Meerschaum, this is one of those things where you're talking about in this little pipe is American heritage.
hmm
Mm.
You've got a plant that was only grown here in this country, you know, and in South America. So you got tobacco. Then you add into that mix corn, only found in the Americas, you know, and it's again, you've got an American tradition here, and it's all wrapped up in this little package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like about being part of. First, I love being part of the pipe community and the cigar community. I love cigars too. But it's a great community to be part of. By and large, the people are just as friendly and helpful as they can be. But then to be connected with Missouri Meerschaum, that you can't get more. And maybe I'm bragging a little bit, but
Go
you
for
can't-
it. Deserve
you can't-
it.
You just can't get more of a true American heritage product, you know, than a corncob pipe. I mean, that is, and a specifically Missouri heritage product too. So
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Well, what's great about it is, you know, you're sitting here, like I said, an American heritage piece, and it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is. You know, let's face it, when you're enjoying a pipe, you know, you're not rushing around doing this.
No,
You know, it's asking you
It's a
to
pause.
sit back.
it's a
And
pause. You just sit
pause.
back and you
Yep.
can just mellow out, you know?
Yep. And
You know,
that's the beautiful part to me. The great part of pipe smoking is that it forces you to take a time out. You know,
It
And-
does. It
and
does.
contemplate, think and contemplate, and it's a great hobby, really is.
Well,
It is.
I will tell you another, you know, there is that occasional thing the big upside to a corncob pipe. No offense, Phil, but here it comes.
Uh-oh.
If I'm out mowing the lawn and my corncob gets run over by the lawnmower, number one, it's not going to destroy my lawnmower. Okay. But the other thing is, I'm not going to sit there and cry about it. I'm going to go to Arlington Pipe and Cigar and get 5 or 6 replacements.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's not like you're destroying a, $600 briar, you know?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hey, Tim, no offense taken at that whatsoever, because that's exactly how I look at them too. So,
Well,
Yeah.
they're replaceable. The thing is, it's good for you because people just keep buying them,
Oh, of
but
course.
they're quality. They're still quality at the most an amazing price,
It'll always be an
which is
enjoyable smoke.
fabulous.
yeah.
well,
And
what's
here's the other
interesting
thing I do is I tell my health nut friends is like, so I'm putting leaves from a plant in here in a product that was grown from the earth. I'm having a salad. Change my mind.
It's all organic, you know?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
well,
true.
lots of things there that aren't good for you. also.
Well, here's another thing, you know, what I'm on a lot of different groups on Facebook, and a lot of the members of the Philosophical Pipe Smoker Society,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, I always thought corncob were, you know, disposable. But I'm talking to a lot of, you know, enthusiasts. These are guys who have the same cob and have been smoking the same cob pipe for 40 years.
Get out.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah, Bob, it's been several years ago, but we had an old farmer gentleman come in to the museum and the retail shop, and he brought in a Legend and a Diplomat, I think. Has an apple shaped bowl. Yeah. And he said, I've been smoking these pipes. He said, I've been smoking these pipes for 20 years, but I think I finally need to replace them. And I looked at him, and the only reason he needed to replace them is the cake had built up so much in here that he just couldn't get any more tobacco. You know, we ended up giving him 2 pipes. So.
Oh, nice.
I don't understand how when the shank gets placed in, that usually gets burnt eventually.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, most corn cobs that I've owned, after a certain amount of time, they kind of burn out.
Yeah. If you smoke, I don't smoke mine all the way down.
Oh, you don't?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because it just partly for that reason, and I can kind of tell when I'm getting down to the, down to when you.
It
when
changes
you're smoking,
it changes the taste.
Birch, know that you've gotten down to the bottom of the bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You get
Well,
that. You get that
sometimes
funny
you're-
taste in the tobacco.
Well, I usually smoke right down to the bottom where it's nothing but
now,
ash.
Now you see, this is what I'm talking about. These are the things that we don't pass on.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. To be honest with you, there was a lot of my corncob pipes. It was probably my own fault that they burned out. I didn't know that the tobacco was tasting nasty. Maybe it's because I was smoking wood. But if you're having a good pipe, it's like a party. You want to keep it going.
Yeah.
Had my wife look at me a couple of times and say,
So Phil, what's the story about the what I call Morris the cat? He seems to be all over the place.
Oh, he was
right around.
He was right here. He was right on. I don't know where he went. I think he got bored with us. He was.
Shake a little envelope of food. Watch how fast he shows up.
Treats out there for him.
Yeah, he showed. My wife and I live out in the country, and unfortunately, people, dump cats occasionally out there, and he got dumped out at our house, and he doesn't get along with other cats. And we had other cats. So I said, well, we could use a cat at the office. So I brought, he gets along with dogs and people great, but he doesn't get along with other cats.
Okay.
So his home is here now, and he's been here he's been here for 4 or 5 years, I guess now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, very good.
nice.
Well, you got him in a lot of photo shoots there. That's for sure.
That's good though. Put him in more shots.
Yeah. We call it. He's the chief executive cat. So.
Does he have an official name or?
Yeah, his name's Cobb.
Cobb. All right, that's what I figured.
With 2
Does he
D's.
smoke one of those small little corn cobs? Or?
Yeah.
So we gotta ask you, Phil, what's your favorite tobacco that you like to smoke in your cobs when you're there at work?
Honestly, Kyle, that I think I'm like most pipe smokers. I don't know that I can say that I have a favorite tobacco. There's so much. That's what's so great about this hobby. There is so much variety, and tonight when we were smoking, I was smoking Baron mixture, which I hadn't smoked in a long time, and saw it, and I thought I haven't smoked that in a while. Boy, it tastes great. I smoked it in one of our pipes called the Bing. But when the girls are here in the office during the day, I usually smoke an aromatic.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I was going to say, I'm sure you don't light up any Latakia.
No, I do not. They let me know. They tell me go to the warehouse.
All women have that same opinion of it.
Yeah.
She does? No, mine
That's
doesn't.
great stuff, Bill. Hey, Phil, is there anything new that's on the horizon that you guys want to promote now on the show, or can you promote anything?
Ron, right? We don't have any new things, on the drawing board. Well, there's things on the drawing board, nothing that we're ready to actually, talk about yet. But, some of the things, we've come out with some things in the, relatively recently, within the last couple of years, like this pipe, we call it the Emerald. That was a St. Patrick's Day pipe.
I like that
Nice.
pipe.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
And
Well, I like the
it has-
band on it too.
and these old bands, I found a barrel of these up. That's what's so great about being at a company this old. I can walk around in the warehouse and I'll find a barrel of something that, oh my God, look at that. Well, that's where these bands came from. So
That's
Wow.
nice though. What is that?
and they've got these have an acrylic stem from Italy, on it. So that, and then we came out with, this, we call this one the pot of gold. It's very similar to the emerald. It has a band on it and another acrylic stem.
I like the stem on that.
Yeah,
It
that's
almost
very nice.
reminds me of an old amber style,
Mhm.
Yeah, it does. It really does look like
That's
that.
very
a
nice.
looking piece.
Very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Now, are those solid brass bands or
Pardon?
are those bands solid brass?
They're, I don't think that they are. Well, I don't know. With as old as they are and to stay in as good a shape as they are, they may be solid brass.
Hmm.
But we literally have a barrel full of them. So
Now, those two pipes are readily available?
yeah, they're on our website, and you can, like the tobacco shops, some of the tobacco shops carry those too. So
Oh, nice.
and those will be in the mid-20s, is where those usually
Not bad.
sell,
Not bad at
because
all.
of that. Those acrylic stems from Italy are not cheap.
No, they're not. No.
So,
But still,
they're-
mid-20s. It's like nothing.
Yeah, but we think that, for us, we think that's expensive. Oh my God, we're going out with $25.
Is that same pipe, St. Patrick's pipe still available?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, the one with the
Both of
green stem is called the emerald,
Mhm.
and then the one with the amber one is called the pot of gold.
That is really,
I like
really
both
nice.
of them a lot.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
nice.
But the other things that we do occasionally is like Corncob Nation, which is a Facebook group. We did not start it, so other people started it.
Mhm.
We'll do, special pipes for them, every year. So, so we do some creative things, and here's one kind of cool little pipe that we did for a different group.
Oh,
Ooh,
I like that stem.
I like
That's a
that.
nice color.
Yeah, it's got the blue acrylic, and it's kind of has a canted, it's a nose
Yeah.
warmer with kind of a canted bowl on it.
I really like
you
that
know,
one. That's a really nice
yeah.
one.
Yeah, so we do some stuff like that. We do every once in a while. And then Cornell and Deal contacted us and they still want to do some collaborations, and a couple of pipes like this one
Ooh, I like that one too.
called the Carolina Gent was one, and it actually
What's that called? Carolina Jet?
Carolina Gent, and on the, you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the label on the bottom, it has our name and Cornell and Deal on it.
That's really nice.
They did that one, and then they this one is called the
Oh.
Charlestown Cobbler.
That's
Look at
pretty
that.
too.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That acrylic is really neat.
What's the name
Yeah.
of that one? Charlestown?
Charlestown Cobbler is what this one's called. Yeah. And that you can only get those. Cornell and Deal won't let us wholesale them to anybody else. So you can buy them on smoking pipes or directly from us too.
Okay.
Or can we get it right from Jeremy or?
I don't know that Jeremy, probably not Jeremy, but
Maybe we can get them right from Phil.
Look at it right from Phil. Wow, Jeremy.
that's right.
He didn't want us to, know that, but
Well, anyway, Phil,
great products.
it
really
really
nice.
has been a pleasure for you to come on board. Can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
We
And I think Tim will talk to you separately. He has some, might be a request, I'll say,
Yeah.
about maybe something for,
I think he's talked to him already.
yeah, about the
But
Chicago Club.
I will talk to you on the side later on about trying to get you a sponsorship. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
And I
we'd
hope
love to be.
again, I know it's late for you, but I can't thank you enough for coming on board. And we really would love to have you back again. And it's been a pleasure and an
Really?
honor.
Nice time.
Yes.
Well, I can say if you like to stay on and experience the stump the choose.
Oh, yeah, I won't miss it. I've seen that before. I won't miss it. So yeah.
Hey, you get a free bike.
It's a briar, but
A little change of pace.
Yeah,
we'll bring cousin Frank in, and you can hear the nonsense that he tries to stump us with each and every single week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Folks, if you're on board, the first three questions are for us three chooches and others. And then the fourth question will be for you, Facebook. So
The
remember,
audience,
the first person who answers correctly on Facebook wins a fantastic brand new pipe from Tim Garrity, president of the Chicago Pipe Club. So, Frank, start your segment.
All right. Well, here we are on this day in history. You know, I'm a history buff. And I figure I'd give you, there's my chooch over to my left or to your right. But today, on this day in history, we are looking at a question that I'm sure Ronnie and Bob might come up with, maybe. But
Maybe. With chooches, remember?
the chooches, but I'll send it their way. On this day in history, August 11th, 1934, this prison was opened, and it was said to be the most difficult to escape from.
Alcatraz. Boy, that was cheap, dude.
That was an
That was
easy
easy.
one.
At least he's making us look smart.
But we know a couple of people did escape.
Or you were there.
Yeah, that was your cellmate, wasn't it?
They both did escape. They both did escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Three of them.
Well, no, I'm talking about you and Bob.
Oh, hey, quiet. Don't tell the audience.
That was Sing Sing. We won't get into that.
That was Rikers, actually.
Yeah, they're in the convict protection program. You got to be careful about that.
Yeah, it's really not our names, but go ahead.
What's the next one?
I'm giving you another one. This one is equally as difficult. On
Oh,
this date in history, a Major League Baseball player hit his 500th home run.
Mickey Mantle.
I got to give you the year. Maybe it might help you.
Oh, give me the year.
Let me go. Hold on. I passed it up. It's one of your favorites. That's why I figured
Oh, Mickey's our man.
Well, it wasn't Mickey Mantle. So the
Okay,
next person in line.
Go ahead. Next one in line.
Yeah,
Well,
he also pitched.
Babe Ruth. Am I right?
There you go, Babe Ruth.
Vito.
Babe Ruth.
He was a Yankee, indeed.
No, you guys. I wanted to make this easy for you because the last couple of weeks I've made it too difficult, and I don't want to make you guys look too much like the chooches that you are. So
Yeah, thank you. We have felt stupid after you. I mean, chooches, but go ahead.
All right, we got one more. Go ahead.
all right. On this date in history, 1992.
92. All right.
Yeah. This 2.5 million square foot of retail space opened in Bloomington, Minnesota.
All America.
There we go.
Wow.
Hey, look at you.
You see, I can be nice. I can give you guys questions that you can actually answer.
Yeah, they were pretty easy.
All right, so we got
This one's for
three.
the audience
But
now.
now,
This is for the free pipe.
this is for the pipe. You know, and I know you're not giving this one away that easy.
No, I'm
And
not.
just to let you know, our man Andre is on.
Oh,
Andre!
Oh, wait a minute. Andre's back.
wow.
Oh, he's coming after you, buddy.
No,
Watch
no.
your back. You got a
You better-
six-shooter
You
on
better
you.
pull out a real difficult one now.
Yeah, no. I'm going to find my screen that I made. This is a picture. So bear with me. I got to grab it from my screen top here. This is a famous baseball player who happened to be a corn cob pipe smoker. And he
Oh.
played for.
I guess I'm sending another one to Andre.
Well, you know that Andre's not going to get this one, so.
Don't take Andre, lightly. This guy is good, and he's got Siri, he's got Alexa, he's got Google, he's everything right next to him.
Oh, there is a picture.
Can't
of
see
it.
it.
But
Can't see it.
You're not showing us the
Oh,
face.
you showed him what team he's on.
Oh,
Can't see the
socks.
face.
That's a good
I'm
one.
gonna give you a clue. Hold on.
Don't give him a clue. You're gonna see the face.
That's a good one.
Listen, this is the clue. He
That's
played
it.
for the White Sox and was considered the third most difficult hitter to strike out in Major League Baseball history as the train passes.
All right. So Kyle, play the music.
You guys should know this.
Phil, you can answer.
Better.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking there? There you go.
If I knew, I would.
All right, time's up.
Play it again. We'll get no. Still working on Mall of America. New answers. Come on, guys. Hi, Lucy.
Time is up. No one got it.
I knew nobody would get this because nobody's as good at this game as I am.
Well, it's good. No one could be better than you. You got the question and the answer.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hold
His
on.
name was Jacob, also known as Jacob Nelson Fox, also known as Nellie Fox.
Nellie Fox.
Nellie
Oh,
Fox.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Right.
Nice, nice.
Nellie
Okay.
Fox.
All right. Well,
We get
next
to
week,
keep the pipe again this week.
not bad, not bad. Oh,
You know I
sorry.
wasn't
Answers
gonna
are
do
coming in
that.
after the fact.
Too late, guys. Too
Oh,
late.
was close. Was close.
Well, no, those
no,
answers.
Barry. Paul Monitor is
hey,
definitely
guys.
not the answer.
Hey, guys. No,
Paul Molitor.
Hey.
No.
hey, guys. Now you got to remember we were on a 30-second delay there, so on the video he hadn't said the name yet. So in my eyes, Ian Simpson got it
Then Ian
first.
Simpson. Is that how we're going to
Yeah.
give it? Okay, Ian. All right. Well, technically, if you're right, we're 30 seconds behind. That's
Really?
why we need to give the music a little bit longer. All right, Ian. I will send this out to you. You beat Andre by one spot.
Yes.
So, Ian, I will send this out to you. That will be 2 this week.
We're sorry, Andre, but
Congratulations.
Ian was half a second faster than yours was. His
Wow.
came in
Oh,
right
look at
before
it, look at
yours.
that. I sent my answer. That's a question. Ooh, I answered in time. Andre, you did, but Ian was right behind
Yeah,
you.
Ian wins.
So
Ian
did
wins.
Andre.
Ian.
all right.
So now you got to send 2 to Ian because you didn't.
I
Wow.
will. You know, I might have to change it. I got to look what he did last time. It might be the same type. I can't do that. Don't worry, Ian. You're
Well,
in this book.
congratulations.
Phil, I hope you enjoyed Stump the Chooch.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Oh, God. The audience is killing us. Phil, again, we thank you
Thank you so much for your time, buddy.
It was
Oh, and thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you guys for even considering us. We really enjoyed it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk soon. I'll grab hold of you. We'll talk a little further.
Yeah.
And again, for Missouri Meerschaum, thank you. You have yourself a great night.
Thank you guys.
Good night,
Thanks,
Phil.
All righty. Well, folks,
That's it for
that
us.
was pretty good. Before we go, Frank, we have a question from you, from our audience.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Jeff, hit him up. Oh, you forgot.
1924 Olympics.
1924 Olympics.
A runner.
A runner.
A winner
A winner.
from Finland.
From
known
Finland.
as the Flying Finn. What was the man's name?
The Flying
Finn.
Finn.
Flying Finn.
Yeah, and he wasn't the
Flying Fuck.
and he and it wasn't the Dutchman. Bad answer.
Uh-oh, Frank, get that dunce cap
Come on,
out.
Frank.
Get that dunce cap
Pull an
out.
Andre. Ask Alexa.
I don't do that. If I don't know it, I won't answer it. I won't go to Alexa. I'll use this
Okay.
right here.
There you go. I got 3 jackasses behind you. Answer.
There
There's
they
a little
are.
bit, there's a little bit of smoke coming out of this. What is it, Frank?
I'm not going to answer that because the answer might incriminate me.
All right.
It looks like Frank got stumped.
Yeah. Yep.
Listen, everybody's a chooch once in their life.
Who was?
Don't save it for next week.
Okay.
All right.
Melendez.
Anyway, Kyle, any last special words?
No, just as far as our formats go, make sure you're subscribing to our podcast on iHeart, Spotify, our sponsor of Anchor.fm, holding our servers down for our podcast for you to listen to and enjoy in all your podcast formats. You can find us on YouTube. Go to our channel on YouTube. Check out the videos from the past shows if you are unable to get to the podcast. And keep continuing to tell your friends on Facebook and follow and watch us along there as well too. So we have every format covered in social media right now. So we are doing our due diligence.
Very good.
Right. Frank works hard on getting the YouTube going after each and every single show.
Well,
With just about every single show, right, Frank?
Well, listen, I've been busy renovating. Give me a chance.
Hey, the show first, renovate second. Well, folks, we sure hope you had a wonderful time with Phil Morgan of Missouri Meerschaum. That was an incredible story. It's an American classic.
And support them. Go buy them.
Yeah.
Go buy a cob right now, man.
Go get a cop.
You will not be
You'll find them wherever
disappointed.
you go.
And check out their tobacco line. And like you said, he has 25 different shapes and sizes. And I mean, this one here is a beauty. I love it. I enjoy it. And I know.
And
you will
also,
too.
when you're going for your cob and you're looking for that cob, make sure you look for that sticker on the bottom, that Missouri Meerschaum
Right.
sticker.
That's
If
the
it doesn't
authentic
have that
stuff.
sticker, it's not a real Missouri Meerschaum.
That's right.
Don't buy Chinese.
No.
Stay American, folks. Till next time, have a fantastic smoking week. We look forward to hearing from you. Share with your friends. Have a great week, folks.
Good night now.
Good night, everybody.